Morning everyone, welcome back to Natters Yard. I'll be outside my Natters Yard and I'll be on the way into work. And you might notice something. You might notice stereo sound. Yeah, I've bloody cracked it. So much more complicated than it needs to be, and I'm just an idiot, or both. I tried stereo mics. I tried one, thought yes, that is definitely a stereo mic because it looks like a little T, and it's got a left and it's got a right. Ordered it. I needed to order a cable with it. Ordered the cable, wrong one. Plugged the mic straight in, wrong one. It's all about the number of bands that it's got around the jack, or it seems to be. Yeah, and it just didn't work, and I gave up. And I thought, fuck it, I'll just do it mono. And then I found a little adapter that I've got. And yeah, boom, all good. So I've got my first commute with a new battery, which seems good. Yeah, new battery, which seems good. My first commute with two wing mirrors, which sounds like a bloody stupid thing to say, but it makes such a difference. And yeah, I do know that, you know, people like them or don't. I say people don't like them. It's a very small subset of people that don't like wing mirrors, and it sounds like the most stupid thing to elect not to have on your bike, but there is a reason for that, and it is Charlie Motorcycle Rescuer doesn't like them or use them, and which you think, oh, that's a bit daft, but then actually, if you live, work and play in central London, then they're just something to catch on traffic. Now, it's something that I might learn when I get a bit more London commutey. I get a proper London commute, because I have put the extensions on these to pull them out a little bit to see around my massive body, and they do protrude slightly further than my bars, so it's something that I might have to adjust at a later date, but we will see. But at the moment I'm just really enjoying the extra visibility, not that it's particularly needed. Excuse me, jammed in my jaw. I have had to change my microphone to a stereo one that I bought, so it now goes from a stereo, I think, from a stereo microphone, although it just looks like a normal, was it Lavalier one, the normal ones, and an adapter that brings it in from the three plastic hoops to a 2 plastic hoop into the GoPro adapter. All incredibly fucking dull, and I'm not entirely sure why it works, but a random messing around with the order that I was doing things last night, and suddenly, boom, I had stereo audio. What else has been going on? Well, bits and pieces, because I'm fucking busy. on Phoenix, that's the Shiver Phoenix. Things that I've tried with degrees of success or not, and things that I'll show you. Probably it's going to have to be on another upload. This isn't it's busy today. It isn't kind of a midweek update friendly. Yeah, the fading, the rev drop. thanks for the suggestions on adjusting the idle. A lot of people doing it by straight logic. A couple of people just being a bit dickish. I don't like to say it, but you know, I love the conversations I have on the videos. I love your suggestions, and they dug me out the poop several times. But it's when you get the ones full of conviction and no knowledge. Of course you can do this. Of course you can do that. Just do this. Just do that. Well, for one, I'm not a fucking robot. I don't just, you know, immediately respond to instructions. I prefer suggestions. Have you tried this? I've had this before. I did this and it worked for me. That sort of thing. But you know, had a couple of you know, have you tried this? Have you tried this? I've had a couple of people try looking it up. Where are you going, Van? You seem slightly committed to coming my way. Had a couple of people come and say you can't. There isn't. You know, a couple of good suggestions. You know, if you tried doing it at the throttle end, and actually, I did have a look. I did have a play, but all I'm doing is adjusting the tension in the cable, really. Or cables, I should say, because obviously one push, one pull. So yeah, that didn't really help, and it didn't achieve what it needed to. School buses are nicer than I remember. Roads are busy this morning. Yeah, so a few good suggestions. Had a bit of a hunt around and a look around. The key suggestion from everybody though was one that I already had it in track but didn't really sort out. So, and that's the vehicle diagnostics that you get on these more modern bikes. Now there is a video from, I've mentioned it before, Paddy. I'll link it in the bottom. That does a better walkthrough, talk through how to do it than I could, frankly. So I'm not gonna film it as a how-to, because I'd just be repeating what he's done, and actually I don't want to steal any views from him because his is bro. It's really good, but effectively it's buying two cables, which he does link from his site. I decided to be clever and go for a slightly different one because I saw it cheap and then it didn't fit, so I had to bastardize it to make it fit. But anyway, and software download from Guzzy Diag, which is bang on it. And the biggest limitation that I've had is finding a laptop to do it on, because we don't really have them in the house. We do. We have, you know, the family computer, the gaming computer. You know, that's that's a fix. That's a desktop, not a laptop. We've had laptops over time, and eventually they die because they get left plugged in all the time and the batteries die, and yada yada, and kids and orange juice and chocolate and all sorts of fun and games like that. So I've kind of dug through some old laptops trying to find one that might still work, and eventually stole the one that was my wife's very nice laptop that the screen died on it, so we've had sort of plugged into a monitor to be, you know, or it was the home computer before we bought the desktop. So unplugged that, downloaded the software and run the diagnostic software, which makes me feel really fucking technical, to be honest. Makes me feel like a proper mechanic. I'll plug this in and click here, and look, it gives me all these readings from my bike. And what I've ended up with is this screenshot here. Now what I'll do is what I then did was cleared the faults. Fixed. Not a problem at all. Now the issue that I've got with running a diagnostic, that's effectively a diagnostic, as I understand it, an ECU diagnostic. Well, that ECU is not from that bike, and I don't know whether or not it was zeroed, whether it was cleared prior to shipping, or whether or not that's faults with the previous bike that it was attached to. So that's sort of question one. So I've cleared it, not thinking it's going to cure all my issues, but I've cleared it just so I know that any issues that come on it come from that bike, as much as anything else, because obviously I have done a swap. What I'll do is I'll say give it a run. I'm literally sort of up and down the hilling it with it more than anything else, just to see how it gets on. Straight through the red light, you fucking bellend. I hope someone knocks you off and you don't get too badly hurt, but I hope you learn from the experience. Yeah, so I fucking hate stupid cyclists, I really do. Not all cyclists, just ones that are dickheads. Yeah, so what I've also done is looked up the fault codes, and frankly it's almost fucking Swahili. So I've I won't say I played dumb, because I am dumb, but I've taken it to the Facebook group and said, right, this is what I've got, what do you reckon? A lot of it seems to be cleaning out rather than straight replacing, so I'll have a look, but it seems to be concentrating on the throttle body and on the rear butterfly of the throttle body, which is a better steer than I had before. You know, I didn't expect diagnostic software to fix everything. Diagnostic, clues in the title now. You know, I didn't expect it to fix everything, but to get a steer onto what to look at is useful. And obviously cross-referencing it with the workshop manual, which does suffer slightly from, you know, auto translate, and but it's a good start. So I think I'm starting to get somewhere with it, and I hope I do, because actually it's a funky bike. It feels, I'm trying to think, how do you describe the ride? It feels a lot harsher than this, but then saying that this is a CB1000 that is, you know, pretty much renowned as an incredibly smooth, easy to ride bike, so it is a little bit chalk and cheese. You know, this does feel, it's going to sound really bad for CBS actually, it does feel a little bargy, this. It is a big boy, and it wants to go where it wants to go, ideally taking you with it. So it feels a lot more live than this does. It does obviously have the three settings on the Shiver, the rain, the touring and the sport, and the sport is quite harsh. Great fun, quite harsh. So you know, when you rip the throttle, it does try and throw you off the back. Not surprising at all. But yeah, I want to get it riding properly. Obviously, because I want to MOT it, but you know, I want to ride it properly, because there's been a few suggestions about riding in a new ECU, and I think they're probably right. It just needs to settle as much as anything else. That's probably imparting human emotions on a machine, but it does feel like it needs to do that. Right, that'll do me for a quick update. I may jump you in on the way back. It depends how ball achingly tired I feel by the end of the day, and how conversational. Obviously I still ride on the way home, but after a day at work I tend to be considerably less chatty, and you're just a passenger, which isn't really the point. Right, thanks very much all. I'll catch you later on. Ta-da.